So yeah, once again, my name is Owen Lagunday. I'm an industry manager for Geodata Systems, and I've been with the organization for 2 decades already. So that's why I indicated there my engagement in different sectors because I would really want to convey the information that should you have questions, it doesn't matter from what sector you are, we can be engaged and we can respond to your questions. So once again, thank you for PMS for always giving us the opportunity to take part in your convention. We always take or treat opportunities like this as an avenue to provide useful information about location enhanced approach to doing things, especially at this time of pandemic. I'm glad we have lots of friends, no, attendees from the academe, as was announced a little earlier, because that's actually the sector that I am operating on, including the science and technology sector. So there are so many schools that were mentioned, which I have engagements already or collaboration. So location intelligence is the title of my presentation in the time of COVID. It simply means being able to understand the correlation of information and its location and seeing the ideas that's embedded into it. It simply means understanding or knowing the location that information pertains to or vice versa, or what information is in an area. Now the latter is more broad in scope as an area because in one area or one geographic coverage, be it small or big, can have tons of information, many different levels and scales and magnitude of information, be it permanent or temporal information, given a specific time frame, such as, for example, about weather, wildlife species or biodiversity, pollution, population, and so on and so forth. Events such as the ravaging pandemic produces huge amount of information, and challenges lies in acquiring, managing, analyzing, and disseminating so that people would know and decision makers understands better, and so informed solutions can be arrived at. This session actually looks at Geographic Information System or GIS and how it was used or applied in some sectors during this time of pandemic. Also, it is the intention of my talk to provide some critical information on geographic information tools available in the market today. Okay, so for the benefit of laying a common fundamental understanding of GIS, okay, hold on. Yeah, again, for the benefit of providing information, geographic information, simply defined, is a technology that integrates location with information. It is used for mapping and analyzing things and events that happen on Earth. There's almost actually nothing that cannot be mapped out because all information has space or location aspect to it, where those information were generated. So it is a technology that can put together different and almost unlimited layers of information and enables comprehension of why things are such. In this example, in the screen that you're seeing right now, overlaying demographics, for example, on the top with terrain, for example, explains why probably population is concentrating on one area. It is because that area is low-lying or an area where access to facilities and businesses is a lot easier. For every piece of information, there is a corresponding location, and in GIS, it is managed on a 1:1 basis, whereby one location on a map has a corresponding one record in a database. Okay, geographic information system for COVID-19 pandemic. This slide actually shows that different information can be represented in layers. COVID-19 is an ongoing event that generates tons of information, new information every bit of a second. Information such as on infection or cases, per location, the social amelioration program distribution, violators of quarantine protocols, locations and capacities of hospitals, quarantine facilities are produced in a sustained growth or fashion every second actually. And GIS is a platform that can help manage and process this information so that what it means can be used to produce effective action. So in the slide here, COVID cases can be one layer, the SWD program can be one layer, quarantine protocol violators can be one layer. All of this information, when you overlay it into a demographic data and a location, probably a base map satellite image, will give you a very strong insight of the real situation and the concentration of this information. See, for example, the quarantine violators, which areas has the highest violation, so that you can concentrate resources in those areas. Okay, GIS actually can be a common platform and function as a system of systems, such as being a system of record keeping, for example, database of COVID cases, database of bed capacities or quarantine facility capacities, the vaccination list and the performance on a daily basis, the vaccination distributions and the centers. It can be a system of engagement. Say, for example, quarantine protocols, meaning information can be very much conveyed and relayed to the citizenry by using geographic information system. And it is a system of insights for modeling transmission rate or analyzing contact tracing performances on a daily basis. So geographic information system can actually be a system of systems in addressing many different aspects of our pandemic. Okay, hold on. Okay, in the past 1 year, as I mentioned, the purpose of my presentation is to provide you with information on how GIS is used in different sectors. To us at Geodata, what we did is we created a COVID-19 hub wherein we gather information, or Geodata engaged in creating a COVID-19 hub wherein information is taken from government sites, such as, for example, from the PSA. Information such as is subject to availability, and such as unconfirmed cases, cases of recovered deaths, confirmed cases, recovered and actual deaths. As you can see, the information here is quite updated. You can see the actual figures. It's actually updated, meaning this hub is still running. And this is created actually to help in the awareness of our situation, the pandemic, so that when people visit our website, they can be informed of our situation. So this is our way of contributing information dissemination. So this is quite updated. This is part of the hub that we created, and this is actually a dashboard, a monitoring dashboard. It is an out-of-the-box application that use an app called Arcgis Online. So the figures actually here is quite old. This is when we started taking in information last year in July when we started doing this. So this actually shows the statistics and the location of those information. So it's very easy to convey information in this manner. And also heat maps can be created in this, as you can see here in this screenshot. And then one of the things that we did is to come up with a mapped location of quarantine facilities in, at the start is in Luzon only, but eventually we expanded to more areas. And the purpose is to provide information of where people can go and access services related to quarantine procedures. So also this is done using Arcgis Story Map, which is an out-of-the-box application also. Okay, this one is the Johns Hopkins University COVID-19 Global Monitoring Dashboard. I'm sure most of you is very familiar with this one in the United States. It actually uses Arcgis also in aggregating information such as the cases per country, the actual pandemic situation in each of the countries, and of course in doing analysis by plotting the information, such as you can see here in these two screenshots. Okay, so this one is the Ormoc City Ormoc City is one of the LGUs that adopted location intelligence approach. This is their COVID-19 dashboard done with the help of our friends. I think they are in attendance today. Friends from the Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan, and I believe they collaborated with the National Resiliency Council in extending help to some LGUs in tapping technology to help in managing information and using it for planning activities. Also, the Visayas State University, also in attendance today, played a role in the creation of this story map. So as you can see here, there are some other screenshots, and of course, the mapping application of the story map showing situation. Okay, this one is the dashboard by the Quezon City government. This screenshot actually was taken in October 2020, showing information, aggregated information on recovered, on the person under monitoring, and then cases per barangay. Also done using Arcgis online application. Okay, so let me delve a bit on the technology. Arcgis is the brand of the GIS that we are promoting, and one of the applications is called Arcgis Desktop. For those that are using Arcgis for a long time already, there used to be an application called ArcMap, and it's still existing, but now Arcgis Pro is a separate application that coexists with ArcMap. So you can use it all together in one machine. So Arcgis Desktop actually is a 64-bit technology, multi-threaded, meaning you can do multi-processes or threads concurrently or all at the same time. It's more of the interface is enhanced. It's now more like the Windows environment. So the ribbon approach is employed. So one of the things you can do with a desktop application such as a Pro is to visualize your spatial data side by side, both 2D and 3D. So if you're doing planning or urban planning, and you can actually view your 2D and 3D side by side. This is actually a digitized campus of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Okay. Okay, so of course you can use desktop application to do analysis. Using model builder, you just have to input the criteria, and then it will output for you the desired outcome. Okay, of course, generally it's used for mapping and visualization. One of the applications that we are so excited in informing people about is an application called Arcgis Online, which is actually a cloud-based mapping platform that allows you to publish your GIS content so it can be discovered and used by others. So in Arcgis Online, it's a portal. It is hosted by Azure and Amazon. So one just needs to have a login. You don't have to invest on the machine, the device. It's very similar to Facebook. You just have to log in. But of course, you need to have the login credentials. So one of the things that is very good with this platform is that there's an inclusion of base maps, such as the high resolution imagery, 2 meters accurate, georeference. So you know what that means, that you can use this for some critical business operations. And it comes free with your Arcgis online subscription. Okay. Another are the availability of field applications, very exciting, such as the ArcGIS Survey 123, the ArcGIS Collector, the Drone 2 map for ArcGIS, the Tracker, and then the ArcGIS Dashboard. Okay, so let me just focus on 2 of those applications for the interest of time. One of which is the application called ArcGIS Survey 123, which is a simple and intuitive form-centric field data gathering solution that makes creating, sharing, and analyzing surveys very easily. So my way of describing it is that it is an application that transforms paper-based survey activities into digital form. You just have to load the application into your device, your smartphones and tablets, and you can go out in the field and start gathering information. So, and then you hit submit. Once you have an internet connection, you hit submit, and then it goes to a central database, and then you can view it in the dashboard, similar to what I've just shown you earlier. So the value of data gathering, in the aspect of data credibility, in the aspect of reducing errors, is very much addressed. and also the sharing part aspect of it. Another is a Arcgis collector, which is a map-based collection application. Kanina, it is more of form-based. This one is map-based, meaning users can load the base map in their devices, go out in the field, gather information by using this application. This actually is a screenshot of the web-based Arcgis collector. And this one actually are levels of damage. For example, in an area where there's an earthquake or typhoon, you can just select here the levels of damage, say probably low damage or high damage or medium damage. And then you can zoom in into this Arcgis online base map to a building and then click. And then once a form would pop out, and then once you hit submit, it will go into dashboard, collector dashboard like this. And this one gets updated automatically as to the number of buildings that has already been inspected. And this one aggregates different information such as how much is the damage, how much is the percentage of damage per property, how many buildings were damaged, and things like that. And then this is my last slide actually. GIS can be applied in COVID-19 activities, and GIS activities are best managed with the use of spatial intelligence, such as for mapping. Say, for example, in mapping and visualization by plotting location of centers, facilities, and cases, and managing those information actually in a central database. In enabling contact tracers out there in the field gathering information for our decision makers to monitor the situation out in the field, and for them to actually analyze, for example, do heat map analysis and so on and so forth, for them to start creating, developing plans, for example, in improving quarantine protocol compliances of the citizenry, for decision makers to be informed of the situation out in the field, for engaging the citizens to contribute information from the field and into their LGUs, for example, and of course, in sharing and collaborating as an entire community. So with that, thank you for the opportunity to present today, and I hope I'm able to impart information that can be turned into actionable items in your respective businesses. Thank you and good morning.